everyone, it's a Tides Changing here, and welcome to part 2 of Let's Furnish Berrywine Acres. So I'm starting off this part by making some adjustments to the kitchen since, like I said in the previous part, I wasn't completely happy with how it turned out. So initially what I did was I changed the cabinets from being blue to being a wood just because I felt like it was way too much blue in the kitchen to, blue floors, blue walls, and blue cabinets. So yeah, I think that does look a little bit, better, a little bit less intense and busy. And another change that I made was changing the completely paint walls that I had to be a panel / wallpaper combo. Because one of you did suggest in the comments to try that, and I agree, it definitely does look really good. And it really goes with that traditional theme very well and gives it, a nice cozy look. So I made the wallpaper the same kind of peach color that the wall was originally, but I gave it a plaid pattern, which I think looks really nice. And right now I'm just changing the wood that was on the canning station because I didn't really like how different that wood was, so I was just making it go with the wood in the rest of the kitchen a little bit more, and now I'm just changing the wood on that shelf up there. And someone else suggested that I put a trash can or a plant below that Home Sweet Home sign. So I just stuck a trash can there since I did forget to put a garbage disposal, and I also forgot to put in some pet food bowls, so I put in a couple of those underneath the apron since, they have 2 dogs and a cat, so I think they're gonna need more than 1 food bowl in the kitchen, so, I just stuck 2 in, and, someone else also suggested that, a farmhouse like this would have a pantry in it, so that little room there was originally gonna be a half bath, but I decided to just turn it into a pantry. And right now I'm trying to figure out the rest of the floor plan on the first floor because the one that I put in originally was just a very rough floor plan, so I kinda got rid of that half of it. And I made the spiral staircase in its own room just because I felt like it was a little bit weird to have that, out in the middle of the room. So I just kind of, kept it hidden. And the back room there will be a study, the room behind the stairs. And then next to the room with the stairs will be a small bathroom. And then that other room next to the foyer will be a guest bedroom. Since I actually saw that Simming with Abby put a guest bedroom downstairs when she furnished it. And I hadn't thought of that, but, I thought about it. I was like, oh, that's a pretty good idea, especially since like she said, if you have a house the size, you might have a butler, so it's a really good room for a butler, or just if, the Sims happen to travel to another country and have a guest come over, or something like that. I don't know, but I felt like a guest bedroom would fit in really well. And right now, I'm just working on furnishing the pantry, and not a whole lot of furnishing really goes in here since, it's just a little 2x2 room, so pretty much all it is just a couple shelves, as you see me putting in here, and I just made it in the same wood as the cabinets in the kitchen. Because I wanted to have, I wanted them to be something different than what they come with originally. And I placed some pet food underneath of it, as you'll see in a few seconds. So right here, I thought it would be fitting since they got so many pets. They need to have a good bit of pet food, and the one in the middle, I believe, is some pet bedding. So it's not really food, but, maybe one of the kids will have a hamster cage in the room or something like that. And on the bottom shelf, I put more of those mason jars. And on the top shelf, I put some of the ramen that came with University Life. I figured, those would be things that would be in a pantry, so I think they fit in there well. And as far as the wall goes, I made it a spiceberry color, I guess. I guess it's spiceberry, but, that's the wife's favorite color, so I decided to just make the wall in there that. And I stuck a random leash on the floor, just because, I don't know, I guess that's where they keep their leashes. And now moving on to the foyer. The first thing that I did in the foyer was take care of the lighting, and I decided to put a chandelier up on the top floor. I was initially going to put it on the first floor, but then I remembered that I was open from the top floor, so you would just kind of have a chandelier hanging, floating midair if I did that. And I also placed another light over to the left as you go into the dining room, since that area is covered, and in the middle of it, I used a bug light because I did want some light there, but like I said, I couldn't really put a hanging light. And right here, I'm just placing a rug since, I don't really like to leave all the floor bare. I use rugs a lot. And I also changed the color of the staircase because I didn't really like the reddish wood that it has. I usually like using ashy, I guess, cooler kinds of woods more. As you all may have noticed, I don't know why, I just like those kinds of woods a little bit more. And I placed a nice shoe rack right next to the door, and the thing I keep noticing about the shoe rack is that those shoes are way too big for Sims. I'm not sure exactly why they made them so much bigger than Sims' feet, but I always notice that whenever I place those down. But getting back to what I'm doing, I'm just placing a painting right there on the wall, and I also placed a plant in that corner right there just to, fill in the space. And I was playing around with putting a sandwich board there. I don't know, I figured maybe it would be like a little chalkboard for the toddler to play with or something like that, but then I realized it seemed kind of weird, so I just put the plant back. And right now I'm changing the color of the rug, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. You know, I didn't want to go with just a plain rug, so, you know, I wanted to go with a pattern, so I'm not exactly sure what to call this pattern, but I just went with this bluish, it's like a bluish gray kind of color. And I just placed a painting right there on that wall, and I put that wicker chair down, but I decided to change the pattern to be something other than wicker. Usually whenever I use that chair, I always leave it as wicker, but I was like, you know what, I want to try doing, you know, making it something different, you know, making the chair look a little bit different than it normally does. So I just placed 2 of those and that octagonal end table, which I felt fit really nicely along the diagonal wall, since you could kind of back one of the edges to the wall. You know, I feel like it would fit in better than just using a square end table. And I guess I put in this rather contemporary lamp. You know, it's not really the most traditional lamp, but, you know, I guess I get some newer objects to put into this house. And I also placed a bookshelf, since, you know, I figured maybe that might be a nice reading spot. You know, I guess, I don't know, I mean, maybe not too many people will be coming in through the foyer, but I mean, I guess having peace and quiet when reading doesn't really matter to Sims that much anyway. And I also just wanted to place a small rug right in front of, you know, right in between these chairs here. I don't know, I just thought that that would look nice in there. And I also wanted to put something above that end table right there in the middle, so I just went with this little trophy shelf, which, I don't know, I thought it'd be fun just to have some knickknacks, you know, give it a nice little lived-in look. And I also wanted to put something in on the wall behind the other chair, but I didn't want to put in anything too big there. I ended up deciding on that really small painting, and I just like to use that painting, you know, when I want to have something on the wall, but it's, you know, I don't really have a ton of space, you know, it's not a very big empty wall, so that painting works really well for that. And I also put one towards the doorway there, and a curtain on that window, of course. Now what I'm doing is I'm playing around with the wallpaper, and I decided to go with the same paneling that was in the dining room. And I do use a lot more paneling in this house than I normally do, just because I really wanted to go for a very old-fashioned look. You know, like this house, you know, wasn't really tampered with too much, you know, like they kept a lot of the historic features in it. And I did have a lot of trouble trying to figure out a color for this wallpaper. I went through so many different kinds. I wanted to go with kind of a warm color, like a yellow or an orange, but I didn't really like the yellow that I had here. It was just a little bit too pale, I guess. I also played around with making the floor darker a lot. Just because, like, for some reason, it ended up looking a lot lighter in that foyer there than it did in the dining room. I don't know why, but it did, and I didn't really like it. But then when I made it dark, I felt like it looked kind of weird. But I did place those wall lights right there next to the doors to add a little more light into that area as you come in. And I'm just going back to playing around with the wallpaper a little more. For some reason, I played around with having a purple in there, which I feel just kind of looks weird. I mean, I know the wife's color is wife's favorite color is a purplish color, but it still just looks weird. And I mean, that is a reason why I was playing around with it in there. So I did try making it the same kind of color as what was in the pantry, but I ended up just getting rid of that because it just looked a little bit weird. So I believe this orange color here is what I ended up going with, and I really like how it looked, and I did go back to playing around with making the floor darker once again. And I also tried making a different kind of wood, but I feel like that wood was a little bit too busy. And I believe that is about all for the foyer, so now I'm moving on to furnishing the guest bedroom, which is the last room that I furnish in this part. For this bedroom, I just wanted to find a nice, simple, traditional looking bed, so I initially tried this 4-post bed, but I felt like it was a little bit too feminine, and I wanted this room to be kind of gender neutral a little bit, so I ended up going with just this more simple bed here. And I don't know, I really like how this bed looks in here, and this bedroom, I guess, will have a little bit less clutter and personal touches as I normally like to put in bedrooms, just because it's a guest bedroom, so, you know, I feel like, you know, there wouldn't be a whole lot of personal items in here, you know, and it's, you know, it's always going to be kind of clean. There's not going to be a ton of clutter in a guest bedroom since, you know, someone isn't always using it. So, you know, I just have that bed there, and then I put a nice flowered nightstand right in front of the window there, and I also placed a checkered lamp. And I don't know, I just kind of kept it the blue checkered pattern, you know, rather than making it match the bed, just because, you know, you know, sometimes you don't want things to match too perfectly, because then it just looks unrealistic. And that's something I've really been playing around with a lot lately, is, you know, not making things perfectly match. And, you know, I just stuck a hamper in there on the foot of the bed because I like putting hampers in each of my bedrooms because I like to have washers and dryers in my homes, and, you know, it's kind of annoying when they get changed and leave a pile of clothes everywhere. So, you know, having a hamper in the room just kind of catches all of that. And I did make the curtains there I guess it's a light orange or yellowish color. It's kind of an orangish yellow color. I guess closer to yellow. And then I did stick this little dresser in the corner there. You know, I just thought it looked nice in the corner. Plus, this is a small room, so there's not a ton of space to place things, so having them diagonal like this kind of saves space. And I just put some clothes and a flower on top of that. And in this corner here, I placed that nice little chair with a pillow in it. I really like how that chair looks. It's just a really cute little chair. And I changed it to be kind of a similar color to what the bed is, you know, but made it a little bit lighter and made the pillow white with the darker flower there. And I also wanted to have a mirror in here because I like having both a mirror and a dresser in bedrooms, so I just put that standing mirror right there, and now I'm placing a rug to cover up some of the floor. And I was trying to figure out what pattern to make this rug, and I ended up going with this nice little pattern here. I really like how that looks. And now I'm just trying to choose a color for it, and I wanted to go with kind of an orangish color. You know, I wanted something that kind of went with the curtains, so I ended up going with this color right here, and I really like how that looks. So right now I'm moving on to doing the wall decorations in this bedroom, and I just put that little compass type looking, I guess it's kind of like a nautical looking wall painting there, and just that little one right there again on that wall, just because I wanted something there, but I couldn't fit in a lot with that mirror and the dresser. And right here I'm moving over to the other wall. I did initially want to put a shelf with a bunch of knickknacks up above that bed, but like I said, I feel like it would be weird to have a ton of personal touches in it, and I also exchanged the clothes that were on top of the dresser for some towels because I figured, you know, since this is a guest bedroom, they wouldn't really leave around folded clothes, so I felt like towels would be more suitable, like maybe here are the towels for the guests so that they can use those towels in the bathroom, which is actually right next to the guest bedroom. And I did initially place this painting on the wall, but I felt like it was a little bit too busy and contemporary, so I did end up taking it out and going with this nice waterfall or river scene, which I think goes a lot better with the traditional theme of the bedroom. So that is pretty much all as far as the furnishing this bedroom, so now I'm just moving on to the wallpaper. And I placed the same wallpaper that was in the pantry, and I initially tried to change it to be more of an orangish color to go with the curtains, but none of the orange colors seemed to look right on that wallpaper. You know, it looked a little bit bland, so I ended up keeping it the same wall as what was in the pantry. And then I went and changed the wallpaper in the pantry because I didn't want to have the same wallpaper. Well, that will be all for this part. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and bye!